surgery and anesthesia pathology task number 3, and we're going to be creating our blood film. Okay, so we just collected this blood from Wiggy, and what we're going to do is just gently invert it about 6 times, and the reason that we're doing that is so that the blood will interact with the EDTA that's in the tube. Alright, so we've got our 2 slides. We're actually out of capillary tubes at this moment, and so I'm just going to use a small little 1 cc syringe to grab a sample here. And of course, you want to be gentle when you're doing this because you certainly don't want to cause any hemolysis, any damage to the red blood cells that could cause you to have a poor read or poor diagnostic quality. Okay, so on our slide, we're going to drop our blood sample about 1 centimeter from the frosted edge. Okay, it's kind of hard sometimes. You don't want the drop too big, you don't want the drop too small, but okay, here's that. And then we'll have our spreader slide at about 45-degree angle or so, and then we're going to bring it back into the blood, allow it to creep across, and then pull it out in an even, rapid motion. Okay, so now we're going to dry it. You can kind of see, I don't know if you have a good background there, but you can kind of see the smear. Alright, so we're just going to dry it, air drying it. Okay, so the parts of a smear or a blood film include your thick layer, of course, where you started with the drop. And then your medium layer is your counting layer, which whenever we do our differential here in just a minute, that's where of course, they're not necessarily on top of each other, but they're more edge to edge. And then lastly, you have your feathered edge. So the feathered edge is where you're going to really, for the most part, be looking because you can see all sorts of cellular inclusions, heartworm microfilariae, and those types of things, different types of cellular formations and what have you, out in the feathered edge, because the feathered edge puts all of the red blood cells on the same plane, so they're not stacked on top of each other, and you can see those different unique aspects of each cell. Alright, so we're just going to wave this in the air for a minute, and then we'll to kind of get it to dry faster, and then we'll let it dry leaning, but after it dries, we'll have our different stains and our rinse solution. Okay, so you kind of want to get it to go ahead and dry. You don't just want to leave it sitting, because whenever it's allowed to sit, of course you're naturally going to have those red blood cells die, but they'll start to kind of crenate, they'll dehydrate and cause crenation, and you want to get it dry before that happens, so you can kind of get an idea of what they look like fresh. Good one. So we're almost there. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let this dry. You can see where we have our thick, our middle, and then our feathered edge there. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. Here in a minute, we'll come back for our stains.